Try again.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, a little bit better, I guess.
I didn't do anything.
No, he's fine. He's just talking softly, I think.
I can do like that. It's better.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I can do like that. Just better. No.
Waking up, finally waking up.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi, Vladislav.
Hi, Vlad. I wrote you in private chat, Vlad.
Yeah, I will have a look a bit later. Thank you.
Well, what do you think? Are we about all set?
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Pavel.
Hi.
Pavel's hunting mushrooms in the forest.
Yeah, fresh air, you know.
I never liked those backgrounds. They always seem like you need.
I cannot do them. There are no backgrounds on Linux, and that's really sucks. That sucks.
It doesn't actually, because of you really need like I know Chuck, he actually, he's a photography fanatic, and he actually probably has the green screen, the whole thing, he's got the setup, but I'm just not into that. I like my fake brick wall. All right, so what are we about ready? I think, yeah.
Yes. We're live, yeah.
Yeah, the stream seems to be working. Yeah. All right, so let's start. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again for our weekly meetup. This is now our 18th, right? Weekly podcast, I believe. Yeah. Wow.
Who knows?
Who knows? It's time flies. So anyway, thank you all for coming. As always, we'll do the presentations first. Then we'll have our usual Q&A at the end. First from within the discussion, then we'll take questions from YouTube, and then finally we'll take questions from those who wrote into us who couldn't be on the stream today. So, right. So let's start with a quick update on the contest site. There's a new URL for governance where proposals and contests are located. That's gov.freeton.org. Again, gov.freeton.org. The old one still works, but eventually all proposals and contests are going to be on this new URL. So just a quick announcement about contests. So those that ended and are about to end, including the 5 brand communications contests, the country ambassadors contests, or contest rather, and the slashing conditions contest. Last week, I know I said that the smart contract was being reworked and should be ready for votes any day. Today is any day. So it's still being reworked. We had a little bit of a delay, but it's in the testing stage right now, and it should be ready any day. So, I'm just kidding. It should be ready really soon. I am so sorry for the time, but as soon as it's finished, don't worry. The clock for voting is going to be automatically reset back 10 days. So don't pay any attention to anything that says that it's already completed or that there are 2 days left to vote. There will be 10 days to vote, and the jury will be notified as soon as the contract's ready. Some of the jurors actually are already making spreadsheets about how they'll vote. So it'll just be a matter of them inputting the data once it's ready. So hang in there just a bit longer. Thank you.
Yeah, Ron, so just quick one. So for some contests, actually, there are already 33 jurors, and they can be and they are ready for vote. I mean, those contests which ended kind of today, jurors can start voting like today, tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
It's
Actually,
yeah, this transformation of jurors, it's already relates to contests which ended before.
Right. Good point. Yep. All right, good. I'll make an announcement to the jury about that. So good. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm very happy to see how well the sub-governance groups are developing. This is the step forward to governance 1.2. So that's major. Obviously, last week I mentioned about the wiki groups, but now I also want to just sort of highlight, there's a news and blog group that's doing really, really well. They're doing a great job. There's a Freeton contest games group that's doing also really good work. And most recently, we have a Korean group that's finishing their proposal to organize a Freeton Korea sub-governance. And that really should showcase how to not just run a country chat group, but how to create another layer, another strata, if you will, of the Freeton network into its own functioning country subgroup. So Steve Yoon is leading that effort. Steve, if you're watching or if you're going to watch this, hats off to you. You're doing a great job, fantastic. And a lot of people from the community are helping him. So that's just 2 thumbs up. Let's see. And then we have finally a website and landing sub-governance group that just got formed, which is extremely important because they're basically spearheading efforts to create, well, obviously a website and landing, but more than that, it's about Freeton's market positioning. So I think everybody can sort of understand how important that is. They're also working on a contest proposal for this to get designs from the community. So if you're good with web development and design and everything that goes with creating landing pages and so on, I would really watch out for that if I were you. This is going to be a monster. So great. But more importantly, this is a major step toward putting the Freeton positioning message out there, which is what? Essentially, this is what it's going to say. Freeton means a free internet. 1, your data is yours. 2, that's the general message. Underpinning that, I should say, we're basically saying, look, the internet was born free, but got hijacked by companies with basically their centralized DNA that infected the internet. On the other hand, Freeton was born free, but is always going to remain free because our DNA is decentralized from day one. That it's scalable, that everyday applications that people are used to having run on services like databases, like storage, for instance, and that through Freeton, those services can also be totally decentralized. So this is unbelievably important to get across to the masses. That's just, that's just great. And that's where we're headed. So guys, we're relying on you to do a really, really good job. Okay. Finally, there was a suggestion in the forum from Platon Knyazev. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's one of the more active community members. He's also a member of some of our subgroups. And he suggested to make some changes to the reward structure for the Magister Ludi game in a way where basically subsidized amounts decrease in favor of final rewards being increased to basically attract more assets into staking, right? So Platon, I know he's with us here today, and he can maybe better explain his vision, but a little bit of warning, Platon's English is not that great, so he has a translator with him. So Platon, if you're there, if you're ready, please go ahead.
Platon?
Hello, everyone. Dmitry, are you here?
Yep.
Yes. Так, ну, всех приветствую еще раз. Прошу прощения сразу за что буду говорить на русском. Я учу английский, скоро я смогу говорить нормально на английском.
I do apologize. I will be talking in Russian.
Многие знают, что сейчас как бы, ну, вообще я хотел сначала какую-то предысторию небольшую, вообще как мы пришли к этой мысли. Многие знают, что мы сейчас разрабатываем дашборд по оценке ликвидности и стоимости токена, вообще кристаллов.
As many of you might know, we are now in progress to develop our dashboard. А что там дальше было потом?
По оценке стоимости и ликвидности кристаллов.
To evaluate the price and the liquidity of crystals.
И когда мы, ну, одна из задач, когда мы выполняли ее, нам необходимо было понять, а сколько вообще необходимо токенов для того, чтобы собрал DePool, для того, чтобы мог наравне с одним валидатором стейкать и зарабатывать. И в этот момент мы на самом деле ужаснулись, когда поняли, что любому стороннему инвестору либо DePool'у необходимо собрать больше 1,5 миллиона токенов.
Yeah, Ron.
Well, first of all, we had to understand how many tokens did we have to collect in the DePool to let the validators stake and earn enough. And we understood it would be 1.5 million plus.
Да, и тут последовали еще другие вопросы. Во-первых, откуда брать такую ликвидность, если во фрифлоуте их не так много, на самом деле, токенов. И следующим вопросом у нас возникло, а сколько вообще, какая вообще доходность от стейкинга в сети Freeton?
We had to understand where did we get so many tokens, because the free float is restricted.
Not restricted, not restricted, not enough at the moment. No only restricted.
In the moment, yes. Not enough in the moment. Yes, Pavel, correct.
Thank you.
И мы поняли, что, ну, когда мы начали анализировать все и просчитывать, мы поняли, что процент доходности, то есть от стейкинга, менее 1%, там, в первые месяцы там что-то в районе 0,75%, то есть менее 1%. Это в целом нормально для блокчейнов, которые как бы уже крупные, которые уже известные, имеют определенную репутацию. Но для нашего проекта, так как он, по сути, ну, можно условно его назвать стартапом, это очень мало. То есть нет никакой мотивации для того, чтобы перевести свои активы из других блокчейнов в блокчейн Freeton. Потому что доходность менее 1%, ну, это слишком мало на данном этапе.
We are not happy with the rate of return, which is not more than 1%, which is not enough to attract investments.
Ну, так, что касаемо, то есть, дальше, ну, смотрите, просто есть дашборд, многие, думаю, его видели на самом деле. Вы можете туда зайти и посмотреть, то есть там мы провели расчеты, где на каждого валидатора из 300 мы предоставили несколько моделей, то есть модель, которая есть сейчас текущая, и есть как бы модель, которую мы предложили. Если мы оставим все в текущем, то есть в basic модели как есть, мы по итогу просто убьем рынок стейкинга. Не будет никакого интереса переводить свои активы именно в блокчейн Freeton.
Right.
You can see the dashboard develop. We made calculations, and according to our calculation, each operator has the basic model, and we also propose an alternative model. because we do believe that if we let the basic model stay, we will kill the staking market, which is my point.
Да, если мы понизим subsidy stake, таким образом мы позволим сделать, мы сделаем более низкий порог для входа в стейкинг Freeton. Соответственно, нам в любом случае нужно будет увеличить прямые вознаграждения для победителей мастер-люди, чтобы они сохранили свою доходность, скажем так, в полном объеме. Но при этом мы позволим, то есть появится живой интерес для сторонних инвесторов, для DePool'ов, то есть и в целом текущим валидаторам будет невыгодно, и конкурсантам, и валидаторам будет невыгодно выливать свои токены на рынок, будет выгодно их держать и, наоборот, скупать с рынка, что, собственно, как бы толкнет цену вверх.
А покупать что, токены?
Токены.
Okay.
The idea is that as soon as we reduce the stake, we will make the threshold is available for investors, and we need to do that in order to save the rate of return and push the investors to buy tokens, which will let the prices go up.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's an interesting point. But my understanding was that this is essentially just a way where if we decrease the original subsidy and increase the end reward, it's basically going to just be a better staking opportunity. If I'm summarizing that correctly, I think that's basically what it is. Pavel, did you want to say something about this?
It's clear. There was discussed already, I think, for like 3 weeks in different groups and on the forum. It just was never, I guess you, Platon asked to be presented it on weekly call. So I think the whole idea is that the lower barrier to enter by validators, the big number of validators Freeton should have, and this is the very important goal to have in the beginning, especially. So that was clear. As far as we saw, that proposal, nobody at least said anything against it. So there are some calculations how to have rewards for winners of Master Ludi contest to preserve the same reward. So this is quite clear for me, at least.
Yeah. So I think it's common sense. I think maybe a little more discussion, but as far as the community concerned, I haven't noticed anybody that's against it. Does anybody have an issue with this, or does anybody want to add a comment? I think Ivan has his hand up. Ivan, why don't you go ahead?
I probably want to give a comment or share my thoughts on this issue that relate to what Platon tells, and maybe have a wider look on the validator rewards. I probably want to share my screen for this purpose.
Great.
Okay, guys. There were lots of discussion about what stakes are going to be in the mainnet, what are rewards of initial validators, what are rewards of Magister Ludi winners. Basically, we've got currently one validator give of 250 millions. And according to the current arrangements, we've got 80 million allocated to the initial validators, either through zero state or vesting contracts. So it's if we're talking about 16 validators by 5 million each. So basically, out of these validator givers, we have 170 million to be distributed through contests to other validators. And if we if we are talking, say, about 300 validators, we have about 500,000 of tokens to be distributed on average per validator. In Crystal game, if we're talking about cumulative subsidies and rewards in Crystal game, they can't exceed 500,000 per average validator, or we temporarily borrow from other givers. We just need to understand. Probably it's not a problem to temporarily borrow from other givers, but we still understand that we have to do it if we want to have a high subsidy.
Yeah, this is exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, this was exactly what the plan, but yeah, but continue, please.
Mm-hmm. And therefore, to minimize this necessity, I personally in favor of this proposal and probably in favor of win-win potential model that have the lowest stake compared to the low stake and high direct reward. So just wasting gas for initial validators that makes things less complicated, and we just have a straight calculation how much we distribute from the giver through contest. And if we are talking what we are going to see in a year's time, we probably out of this consideration going to see the stakes in the mainnet after decentralization achieved and givers distributed in a range from 500,000 to 1.5 million, because we are going to have a large number of validators with 500,000 average stake, plus minus there could be some variance around this. We've got initial validators that have higher amount of tokens, but they are not going to they won't be able to make stakes in excess of 1.5 million because they would be clipped by the electric contract, having the largest sums invested by validators by validators with smaller stakes. So the equilibrium will be, I think, around 1 million tokens. So basically, if we distribute about 500,000 to 300 validators, it will be the market, and the new validators or who want to be validator from other blockchain, probably they will be looking for tokens from market from other givers, or maybe some validators go out of game if they want. I just share my thought because we've got lots of discussion on how it could be done. And again, probably we need to push for win-win potential model or something like this with the lower with all locked subsidies, not to borrow heavily from other givers. That's all.
Thank you, Sergei. Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, it's just a means to bring in more validators.
Yeah, can I put some thoughts on that? That's short.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm sure that initial validators, which are professional participants of the staking market, can also participate in fine-tuning this like numbers, but that's not like my main point. Main point that I believe that future validators should not forget that they will also be able to vote on the network configuration. Of course, they won't be able to do this from the very start, but only after the distributed time bomb thing will like done. So as in the declaration, and the solution here is to bring new community members, which will bring value, create new contest proposals, win contests, and which will increase like stake of these validators and move the open network. Right. So you can like bring the professional community of developers into this stuff and just move the things on. So it will increase your stake also.
Thank you, Ivan.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, listen, Platon, thank you for your presentation. Ivan, thank you for your comment. Let's, we have a lot of things to cover today. So I think that's it for me. Mitja, I imagine you probably have some updates, right?
I don't. What?
Okay.
What kind of updates do you want me to do?
I don't know. What kind of updates do you have? I'm sure people have a lot of questions. Or do you want to just move right to Q&A?
Well, we are kind of so I just want to say about the current DePool contest. This week is kind of week gathering data, and so as I said before, and Sergei said before on several occasions, don't bother looking too much into the leaderboard numbers. They are just indicative for the validators themselves as well. Like, it's not a real slashing. That's not how slashing, let me repeat that, emphasize. That's not how slashing numbers will be look like on the mainnet. Definitely not. And by the, like, starting from next week, we will start adjusting these numbers and, you know, play with them and later on add to them and basically like develop more on this slashing algorithms and numbers we collect and stuff like that. So we can debug this part as well and fine tune it together. I think that's it. Maybe I forget something, but I'm sure we will have questions which will remind me of this.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
There were questions in the chats about some people asking you to say a couple of words about DePoolsation, because people don't understand the concept.
Yeah, DePool association is not there yet, and I'm kind of very worried about this because we're kind of not having enough time to develop this concept before the mainnet launch, and that's really unfortunate because it will be very hard to move from contracts that are going to be deployed, because these contracts are set in stone. As you know, there are no set codes, nobody can touch them. And so it will be voluntarily, and maybe it's even good like that it, you know, that it's voluntary. So we're not imposing anything on anybody. DePool association.
Definitely good, Mitja.
Sorry?
This is definitely good.
Yeah, well, I think everyone, like most of them, will move to association, because association is something that will help you to promote your DePool. Of course, if you just want to stake and nothing else, then probably you don't need any association whatsoever. But if you want to kind of have others people money to be staked in your DePool, then I think association will do just good in that respect. So it will give, you know, joint marketing kind of promotional potential for everyone who will join this association. Because association really gives a stamp of approval, kind of the trust. The idea is very simple. Basically, instead of going and negotiating with each of the DePool, the user can just go to the association, and the association, using some algorithms, which we can and we will discuss, obviously, that we already did with initial validators. We already had that, and just that we didn't have time to develop it further. So these algorithms will kind of decide which DePool, based on whatever metrics, your money will go to give best rewards and security, which are reflected in slashing, of course. So like just on top of my head, just very simple idea is like using slashing as we do now to rate the DePools, okay, individual DePools, and then let association distribute tokens according to some kind of formula across these DePools, maximizing the revenue potential, taking into account slashing, for example. And that will abstract the whole point of, and then of course, association will take some money, some tokens for this service from multiple members, but then the users in this DePool association will be used as a vehicle to bring more users to just stake with these DePools, and the DePool individual DePool members won't need, association members won't need to kind of think too much about promoting, marketing their DePools, because a lot of them just don't have that capability, right? They are very good at DevOps, and they may not be so good at marketing and stuff. So that's the basic idea of DePool. So it's of association, and in some way it also adds to the security of the network actually. But I don't want to go into that right now. Well, there will be, and if there is a proposal about DePools association, and I will add some to that going forward. Like I'll publish something to explain why I think the DePool association increasing potentially the security of the kind of Byzantine increasing the Byzantine fault tolerance over 33%.
You have a paper on that?
I don't have yet. I mean, I do have, but I'm not publishing that yet. It's a work in progress.
Okay, thank you, Mitja. Let's see. Let's take any questions from people who are in the conference right now. Who has a question, a comment? Please speak up.
I mean, Ron, there was a question to me in the community chat. I just answered that in writing, but let me repeat what I said there. There are a lot of questions I'm hearing about the initial distribution of tokens. Let me just tell you my version of it, my point of view. So the initial distribution of tokens that happened, as we all remember, on May 7 in Zoom, extremely transparently, was done on the basis that the initial validators were invited, and it was not against centralized effort. It was like, everybody was inviting whoever they knew as reputable validators from the other networks. They were invited with the objective to inject professionalism and credibility into the initial launch and enable that snowball effect, the first ball rolling on the snow. And that's why initial validators got substantial number of tokens. And as we all know from the game theory and from the other stuff, I mean, the first guys obviously get a little bit more. And then as we go down the road, the next person gets a little bit less. That's why highly respected 300 validators who won in the contest that just ended in August, and rewards will soon be distributed, are equally valued, but they came a little bit later, and that's why it's less. And then the second part of that question was like why the remaining 93% would be distributed so slow compared to the initial 7%. The answer to that is the mission of the TON community, the way at least I understand it from the Declaration of Decentralization, is to get thousands of applications and hundreds of millions of users into the platform, which we call kind of decentralized internet. And that cannot be done fast. If anybody knows how to do that in 1 month, let's do this. I mean, I think everybody would vote for that to distribute those tokens immediately, but I don't think that's possible. It's the snowball will get bigger and bigger. We have, as Pavel mentioned, I don't want to repeat, and Euron mentioned, the sub-governance effort is taking speed. I'm hoping there'll be hundreds of sub-communities governing themselves very soon. And that will help to engage more and more developers and partners with user base. So the faster it happens, the faster tokens are going to be distributed, and the platform populated with applications that people would want to use, and users that would engage with those decentralized applications. So
That's right. That's absolutely right. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, absolutely. So, and just to put it in layman's terms, look, guys, I mean, everybody wants to run a marathon, but right now we just started walking. We have to learn how to walk before we run. This is a monumental undertaking that we're doing. This is something that's never been done before, ever. We are literally freeing information for people, freeing their privacy, freeing, returning trust to individuals. If you think that can be done overnight, good luck. I mean, what can I say, right? So please don't, I understand it's human nature to, want more and faster, but that's not reality. That's not how life works. So I appreciate, everybody who asks these questions. I'm a firm believer in the idea that there is no such thing as a stupid question. But at the end of the day, look, I wish I would have been the first to invest in Facebook when Mark Zuckerberg was looking for money, but I didn't. So now if I invest in Facebook, my dollar only turns into $1.02. I mean, that's just reality. So please just calm down. Everything is working exactly as it should, but when things work exactly as they should, they take time. If they don't take time, there's a problem. Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate that. Look, Ivan's got his hand up again, of course, as usual. Come on, Ivan, come with it.
Yeah, so some questions from the community and from me personally. Can someone from the community help with programming or technical support for governance one branch? And how do you see the community contribution to the development process? Because we can see that things are like going not so fast as we want. And somebody, I think, is ready to join, but there should be some steps. For now, we don't even see the code and even don't know the interface of contest contract. I know it, but nobody knows it.
Oh yeah, let me take this one. First of all, thank you, Ivan. We discussed a little bit before. Regarding code, I mean, it's open source. I'm sure I can ask Boris to get the link to GitHub where those contracts are placed. So, and again, it's smart contracts on the network. So again, they are open for sure. Again, probably we didn't market it, but it is fully open and transparent. That's for sure. Regarding helping development, again, thank you very much for this. As I mentioned, we now have two initiatives with two governance coming shortly. One is DeFi sub-governance, and another one developer tools sub-governance. Regarding governance itself, this what we have now with 1.x, actually it's a temporary situation. Once we will finish this migration of jurors, then not much to do with it, because it's quite ready system, and we will use it until governance 2.0 will be implemented. So after that, probably there will be some bug fixing, but not that much development. The most efforts will be focused on governance 2.0 development, and I hope that number of teams which are working on it right now, they will release Playground in, I don't know, a couple of days or so, something. I hope so. And of course, for that, for governance 2.0, there is a lot of work to be done. And for governance 2.0, definitely your effort is welcome. By the way, I don't know, did you join that group? But you can join and help with it, sure.
Okay, we'll write you something. I just wanted to like so there should be some like entry points to actual like development process, and the tutorial contracts which we know in Ton Labs repository are now are easy and easy. Yeah, they're easy.
Yeah.
And we
I see your point.
late with that. And DePool system is really hard Like, so there should be like, you know.
That's exactly the point which I got from some team. I mean, guys from Cyberway, who are again our initial members of Freeton. They promised that they will lead developer tool self-governance, and they exactly mentioned this, that there are a lack of samples for smart contracts, and this one of contest they would like to start. So
Yeah, this is decentralized
good
stuff.
examples.
Samples are very welcomed.
This is decentralized process, and I understand that there are some maybe miscommunications because I don't really know who is Cyberway and what they are doing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look at the website. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, on Freeton, they again.
Just one short thing that I think we have more. I'm saying, obviously, as more we have like this samples of the smart contracts is better. But just a short like kind of note, we have more samples of the smart contracts in any of the networks out there currently, like new ones. So just to put that in some kind of perspective. Thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, we should do better for sure. There is a group, Ivan. I don't again know whether you are part of it. It's some kind of called developer experience, and this is a point where discussion is going on. Again, I mean, somebody should. Somebody should.
Total silence in this group.
Really? Okay. No. Anyway, I mean, Cyberway will put their proposals because they did some.
Actually, Cyberway also said that they will do proposal for the distributed database, which I didn't hear back, but hope to.
Yeah, there was discussion last week, so let them have some time. And actually, they already showed.
I'm saying there are things to do. Yeah. So if anyone wants to join that effort.
They have already. I mean, they already showed me 10 contest examples. One that's exactly for samples, for smart contract samples. Some other like for quick start, for gas optimization, for compilers. All very useful stuff for the ecosystem. So they already showed that list, but I asked them to structure it in a more formal way. Again, let's push them or ask or help them together.
Really, no need to push. Just need to like know that everything is okay because it's decentralized and somebody don't understand, and we just I just want to like put that to public that everything is okay and the process is going on, and if there is a silence, then that means that people are working hard.
Yeah, the more teams will appear, the more sub-governance will appear, the more activity we will have, and it will be more visible, because that's exactly the way how to scale governance and how to scale process. Just give it to community, for different communities. That's exactly the way. But it takes time. I mean, in centralized way, it all could have been done probably like in a couple of weeks. Like you do this, you do that, but in decentralized, we need first of all people together to get in one group, then discuss how they will do it. You see, it takes months, but we already like 3 months away from the start of that process, and now it's starting very well.
The second question is maybe to Ron, and this will be maybe, I hope, the last from me. So there's a lot of applications for branding contests, and some authors, which submissions are good, believe me, have concerns about applications that may be or may not be rejected for any formal reason. You know, there are lots of new jurors, and we are sure that they will vote wisely and won't put a rejections here and there because of formal reasons, or somebody like that somebody's told that PNG should be like touched. So you know that issue.
Yeah.
And,
May I add a few words
mhm.
regarding this contests? The main idea of this contest was to make images for social media, stickers, and other design things. But such resources might be provided only by winners, not at all. Only winners should provide that, and it will be announced. It will be later, because we don't need to, like, say bad words. We need a good design for social media, for Telegram chats and other. Yes, and
Right.
we need resources, sources of the submissions. Yeah, that was the main point of this contests.
Yeah, and that's very important point. And I just wanted to like point out that we should not only communicate it to the participants, but also very strongly push the jury members, because their civic duty is like to do good and not to like be those like who do reject.
Super jury, yeah, super jury.
Okay, so let me start with the last part first. Okay, so that goes without saying, right? Okay, so that's common sense, and it is communicated to the jury all the time. They are aware. However, we have 32 jurors right now. In the future, we're going to have more and more. And at Governance 2.0, it's going to be it's going to be anybody with tokens. So I don't want to revert back to what we were saying earlier, where it's baby steps, but it is baby steps. But at the end of the day, we are dealing with human beings. Okay, so this isn't a court. There's not a prosecuting attorney and a defense attorney. The jurors, while they are being instructed, the instructions are suggestions. This is decentralization. You're not going to force anybody to do anything. What you can do is put certain instructions, say, for instance, and I do this often. I'm going to do it again. I'm separating promotional conferences and technological conferences. Why did I say conference? Contests. Sorry, I was in the conference business for a while. Contests. Technological contests, and I've seen a few proposals already that specify right in the requirements that in order to vote, you have to be qualified to vote. If you don't understand the material, please abstain or don't even bother. With promotional conferences, it's a little different. Referral conferences, again, oh my God, guys, I apologize. Contests. Referral giver contests, which is basically anything but development and validation. It's very difficult to put restrictions on anyone because it's a matter of taste. I either like it or I don't like it. I don't have to be a person with a speciality in understanding what a meme is or a GIF is or a picture or anything is. I either like it or I don't like it. So while suggestions have been made and everything that you stated has been communicated to the jury, and if any jury members are here, please, communicate it to the other jurors again, reinforce it. But you can't put rules in place. It's not a rule. So if somebody wants to reject something because they had a bad day, they're going to reject it. But then what we have is a counteraction. So the first thing is, after jurors vote, the community can challenge their vote. They can say, well, wait a minute, you did this wrong. And wait a minute, you did that wrong. And if enough community members come together and enough of them create an issue around that kind of voting, what happens is the juror will be informed of this. That's step one. Step two, the juror can be warned by the community. And step three, the community can ultimately put together a proposal to remove a juror. Action, counteraction. That's the way this moves forward. So informing the jury goes without saying. Forcing anybody to do anything is impossible. What we can do as a community is come together and decide whether somebody should be a juror or should not. And that's the solution.
Yeah, guys, and I want to put, so yeah, my motivation to ask these questions is just to show all who listen this or all who view this.
I'm sorry, can I interject? Another thought is this, by the way, here's a great example of why the more stuff you put in a proposal, at least in promotional, the more requirements you put in there, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep it simple. There's this thing called the KISS principle.
Keep it simple, stupid.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. I wanted just to add that the reason why do I ask these questions is just to show that everything is open and any question could be raised from bottom to top, if you will. For like, yeah, there's.
I don't like bottom to top. There is no bottom to top.
Yeah. So from node to node, okay, yeah, and any like issue maybe should be like communicated and resolved. And as we see now, this is almost resolved. And I have also added like additional announcement to that the instructions to jurors will be put into like a video format with translations, so Ron will not repeat himself again and again and again, and you jurors just will have that instructions.
Thank you, that is very appreciated.
Yeah, the better word again is Ron mentioned not instructions but suggestions, because instructions a little bit different. You cannot enforce.
Yeah, it's a tutorial, it's a demonstration.
I'm a little bit centralized thinking yet, and well,
darn you,
it's time. Like,
take your pills.
Thank you, Ivan. That's very appreciated. All right.
Anti-decentralization pills.
Decentralization pills.
Anti-centralization. Anti-centralization pills.
It's
decentralization pills.
It's the red one. It's
the red one.
You think the red one.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know how they look like now.
Okay. Okay. Let's finish with participation questions. Does anyone else have a question, a comment, anything before we move to YouTube? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Moving to YouTube. Not a lot of questions today. I'm surprised. Okay. Any plans to add slashing to every round of DePool game, the DePools game for each player? Because apparently some players are making a stake and some players are not, and some are not validating but still have a good position on the leaderboard.
I don't think they are anymore. And the guys who, again, as I said, we're kind of playing with these numbers. Of course, someone who is not staking won't win, period. They will just be removed. Sergei, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, first point, we're going to adjust the threshold, the slashing threshold a bit, so we still will be able to differentiate good from best, but on the other hand, we'll have slashing fines a bit less, not so to be more comparable with the current rewards of the validators. The second point, if somebody misses round, there may be various reasons. We consider to impose some fixed fine for missing round. In order to do it, we need to collect some statistics and see what would be reasonable and fair, not to give some advantage or stimulate for not to participate in elections for participants, because our final goal is to test this system and not to avoid elections.
On that point, it's very simple. If you miss one round, the problem that you have now is why you're kind of up, is because the slashing is more than a reward currently. which will be fixed, of course. We did it temporarily just to get a, more interesting leaderboard, because otherwise we would have a, 200 places will be on the one place, no slashing, right? In the real world, that's what will happen, because you won't get every day, slashed in real world. It will be some, so when you will have rewards more than a slashing, which we will, then the ones who did not participate in the round will get downgraded because they during this round they didn't receive the rewards. So it's kind of a temporary thing. It will all be kind of fixing itself.
So that's not only a contest for validators, but also like a challenging contest for a core team, like to develop.
As every contest we ever run.
Yes, and I think just that the validator community don't understand this, or not all of them understand that, and that there are also some validator community members who think that the validating shards is better than validating master chain. Can you elaborate on that, please?
I'm not going to elaborate on that. And it's totally, the numbers are there. The numbers are the same for everyone, like except for one guy who is I don't know if he still is, but he's on the top of the list right now because he actually has 2 DePools. He have 2 DePools, and that's why the statistics completely got broken on him, and he's number 1. That's temporary thing. We're going to fix it now. So except for that, yeah, it's
okay. Thank you for update.
Enjoy your answer. Okay. Right. Okay. I expected this. So somebody states, Nidus Knight says, employees of initial members should not be allowed to submit for contest until the token distribution to the initial members is finished. Should lead the contests and not submit. Is it? Hold on. I'll deal with this. Should lead the contest and not submit. Isn't it reasonable? That is absolutely unreasonable. That would be like saying Toyota shouldn't participate in a new car show because Toyota already owns a piece of the market. I don't, this to me is third grade venture, third grade finance. I don't understand why
it's socialism. It's not finance.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what it's actually borderline fascism.
No, it's it's worse. It's Marxism. It's even worse than that.
I don't understand where your thoughts are coming from, and I don't mean to embarrass you live. That's not my intention. My intention is to educate you by explaining common sense. Okay, if an initial member or anybody for that matter is good at something and they can bring value to the network that you will benefit from, why would you want to keep them from doing it in favor of just because you want to give somebody else who hasn't done something an opportunity? You have the opportunity no matter what. Here's the thing. If you're good at something and you have something to offer and it's better, offer it and everybody will see that it's better. If you don't, stop trying to cut other people out.
I can comment on that like for the next 3 hours, but let me just compress. So Ton Labs participating in contests, and we will continue to participate in contests because that's the only way to get what we do across, what we do next. Now, but we intentionally, actually, and we did it several times already, we intentionally do not put the best solution out there, meaning we are intentionally not kind of trying to cut this just to the, bare idea, and not so we won't like use somehow our like advanced knowledge of things over, so it will like we will win on the time. And that's the idea. That's one thing personally from Ton Labs part. Second, I always said that that's my personal view, that the contests are best way to distribute funds, but under certain conditions. And one of the conditions is that you have many, like the pool of price is large and it's distributed. And that's why, because to encourage participation. So even if you don't win the contest, you still, if you participate in a good faith, you did something valuable, you will still receive some prize. So your work would not go completely, without covering your cost or whatever, right? So that's a equality of opportunity. And then, of course, the decentralization of the jury and everything else, that Time-lapse is not participating in judging contests for that reason. And we lost, for example, some contests on that, because one contest actually where jury did wrong. It's simply wrong. And I'm not, again, it's not that I'm not angry because we didn't win the contest. I don't really care. Actually, I like it that we don't win the contest. But the problem was with the jury that we just choose the wrong guys to win. There were better solutions that should have been higher there. That's the only reason. So, and one thing about, I didn't want to personally insult you or anything on Marxism point. I think a lot of people don't understand what Marxism is, and unintentionally.
All right, let's not.
Unintentionally, actually,
I can recommend a very, very good cartoon. It's George Orwell.
Okay, guys. Let's. Can I just interject? Let's not get. This is not a political discussion. Okay, everybody.
Marxism is not about politics only. I'm talking about Marxism about solely, purely economical thing. And it's just so much embedded, particularly in the Russian-speaking community. You don't really realize how infected we all are with the Marxism, because generations of our parents and our grandparents who were thinking that the true Marxism is a true economic theory. Please, Ron, please.
Let's not do this.
It is not true economic theory. There is nothing true about Marxism. There is Bombawerk wrote a piece on that in the last century, 2 centuries ago, actually, with the criticism of Marxism. Just read it. It's very short, very compressed. It will explain why this is just not valid economical theory. But we have that in our culture. And it's really hard to take it and look at that and say, okay, that's just wrong idea.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mitja. And just to add to that, this is not a political debate or a debate on ideologies. If you're a Marxist, good luck to you. This is not Marxism versus capitalism. This is Freetonism, okay, which is a different thing altogether. It actually dispels with both, using the concept of true free market, and I'll add to what Mitja's saying, a true free market, because a lot of people use the term capitalism, and I can tell you right now, being from the United States, there's no capitalism there. It's something else. So it's not about capitalism, Marxism. It's about giving people the right to choose, and that really does not exist. So when you give people the right to choose, you don't put barriers on their ability to participate in something. That isn't Marxism. It's just wrong. It's just fundamentally wrong. First. Second, by the way, it all depends on the contest. So the proposal has, I believe almost every proposal has a paragraph that states very clearly that anybody who is making a submission and participating in the contest cannot be on the jury. They cannot have a jury member. So, for instance, if company X makes a submission, let's take Ton Labs, for instance, let's take us. If we have a submission in the contest, we don't have a vote. So I think that pretty much cancels your concerns.
Company understood. It could be understood when we deal with company. But what if we will deal with entity, decentralized group of people who are like sub community, maybe private chat which exists like for so long, and they do things like together. What like will they have some restrictions or something?
We're going to have to let the jury figure that out, and maybe the community can come together and see that if it's a collusion, what you're talking about is called collusion, right? So it's up to the community to find that collusion, underscore and highlight that collusion, and let the jury know that this is happening, and then the jury will decide.
Posted links, Ivan.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Let's go on. We have a few more questions that just came in. I know we're running over, but not as bad as usual. Admins says that the initial validators will not spend the coin. Oh, okay. So, all right, let me paraphrase this. So basically, Zach is saying that initial validators have a lockup on their ability to use tokens before full decentralization, but he or she is claiming that they are trading tokens. I don't know if I'm qualified to speak on this. Somebody else? Pavel, maybe?
It's a favorite Pavel's topic.
Yeah, it is. Okay, if I may, and Pavel, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a lockup, but it's a lockup in faith. It's a lockup in mutual understanding. I don't think, again, because of just like the last question, I don't think anybody can really stop anyone from doing anything. But if you are saying that they're trading tokens, Pavel, let us know if there's, how does this work?
Yeah, you're talking about the prohibition for transfer tokens before decentralization.
Yeah,
talking about the lockup
again,
before decentralization.
Yeah, it's contract obligation, actually. I mean, all initial members signed it. I mean, physically signed it with scans of agreement. So yeah, I mean, initial members promised by contract not to transfer tokens before decentralization occurs. It's simple as that.
Well, I have to say that we transferred some 100 tokens, something like that, for testing surf, things like that. Yeah, we did that.
So maybe that's what he's talking about. Oh,
so sorry
sure.
about that.
Okay,
we didn't trade them. We need some tokens to test.
That's right.
On the main.
That's
like,
what he's talking about. That's what he's talking.
Like
that's not. Yeah, that's not. That. No.
Yeah,
that's
and we
not.
have to use and we have to use tokens to deploy contests, by the way, as well. So it's probably like 500 tokens already spent for that type of activity.
That's
what he's saying. But nobody really trading, or at least if you know of anyone that trading.
Yeah, let us know.
And you can prove it. Just send it to the community, to us, or to anyone, and you know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, if you have if you have something that you can share to the community where you can actually show that it's being traded, please do so. But I do think that that's what it is, and it didn't even occur to me. So in order to make certain operations, it requires tons, because this is what's going to happen in the future. Everything is going to be based on, you have to have tons to accomplish something, to make a maneuver within the network. And so, for instance, we can't deploy a smart contract without burning tons. You can't do.
I think we kind of covered that.
Yeah. All right. So if that's what you're seeing, and if the amounts are like nominal, like 500 tons, 300 tons, or whatever, this is just for network stabilization. It has nothing to do with trading. All right. Next question. Should the participants who changed their original content in their Google Drive links after August 10th deadline, should their submissions be disqualified? That's a very good question. And my answer, actually it's a community answer, is going to be, it's going to sting a little bit. Okay. Look, again, there's a contest, there are requirements, there are deadlines. Because everything is based on smart contracts, because it's not somebody saying, hey, by August 10th, like you would have in a centralized world, and go, all right, we'll do it on August 11th. Listen, if you didn't make it, you didn't make it. And as far as changing anything, I mean, you can change it, but I would say this: when the jurors go to vote, they understand to also look in the forum, in the discussion forum. So maybe what you can do is just sort of justify under your own information, under the information that you put in the forum, say, look, hey, I kind of, I screwed up, I made a mistake. Here's this. And I think a lot of jurors who do their due diligence will find that and probably forgive the error. But there is absolutely no way to force them or anyone to do so. So if you didn't do it on time and you do get a rejection or a low score or whatever the case may be, that's something you're going to have to live with. I'm sorry. That's life. Life in the big city. All right. Evgeny Nazarenko says, can we have 2 or more nodes validating DePool since one node equals one server is not stable and safe infrastructure for DePools?
You can do whatever infrastructure you want, as long as you're kind of managing your keys correctly, and why not? Of course, you can have like redundant nodes with nodes that are, and yeah, that's the way to do that really. If you don't want to be slashed, is to have nodes synced, for example, 2 nodes synced, and then one acting as a redundancy of the other if one of the nodes validator something wrong with happens to it. Then, and you also probably need to think about a couple of data centers for this. Just saying.
Okay. The same gentleman or lady, I don't know, a Nidus Knight, who we just had the long discussion about, says, LOL, I'm not a Marxist or socialist.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's so much embedded in you don't feel it.
All right. Well, just so everybody knows, Mitja has his own views on the world, and don't take it personally. He says, I'm not a Marxist or socialist. I mean, for example, Ton Labs have some responsibilities for Ton development in the Declaration of Decentralization as the initial dev member. So it should not be mixed in the contest submissions. Again,
because it's not. Wait. I will answer for that. If you read our statement and declaration of decentralization, you will read the list of things we have done previously and that we have to do. If some of them are not yet done, we have to do under this part. So it's listed there. We cannot work forever on like this. Obviously, it doesn't make sense, right? Because we work 2 years, kind of, that's our contribution. The 2 years of development of the Ton, different Ton parts and Ton protocol and different things around that. And that's what we're giving to the community. And of course, the supporting the network. That's obviously kind of the motivation that we have for this part. But if someone in Ton Labs team develops something new, completely new, and then it should be compensated. It cannot go forever uncompensated like that because you already had some tokens before. I mean,
a good case in point would be our Ton Labs contribution to the Magister Ludi game, which let's face it, took a lot of work, took a lot of effort, and took a lot of manpower. So I think that also makes sense. So there's a question here. Can you share the text of this agreement? I think the gentleman is asking about the agreements between the initial validators and the network. So no, and the reason being is because it was signed before the network was launched. So that would be like sharing, what private organizations at a private time before the network was launched signed. What you do have is a complete and open source, open information about how much they're receiving. What else do you need to know? And you're welcome to ask. And if anybody's
actually, there is nothing else there.
Yeah, there is. Isn't
it's just that part that prohibits the move tons, and the part that have this 2 validators running for a year as a term, and that's, you have it in there is nothing really in there. It's just a paper which we kind of all signed between us, and there is nothing to. Again, I don't know. Maybe we kind of voluntarily sometimes will disclose this. I don't think, I don't know, Pasha, what do you think? I mean, there is nothing really secret about this in terms of content of that.
It's just a matter of privacy before decentralization.
But there is an NDA.
But I don't care.
But there is an NDA inside of that. So that was to prevent information going out before the network was launched. So under this NDA, we actually cannot disclose this information. But if we all kind of agree that sometimes we will disclose this, I think this is kind of important. I mean, this kind of documents, once the network is kind of big and successful, this kind of documents never stays secret, and we all know that. It's like it's not going to happen because it's more than two parties anyway, and it will gonna be leaked, and there is nothing there. I don't care. Yeah,
you also have to realize the circumstances under which the network was launched. It was very difficult. There were regulatory issues with with everything that's public now. And in that kind of a situation, you have to be very careful not to let information be leaked out into the public. So, okay. So I hope that answers your question. The gentleman who, again, I keep doing that, Mazak, who talked about his earlier question where he feels that validators are trading tokens. He says, LOL, no. They are spending hundreds and thousands. Check it in the blockchain. It should be locked by smart contract, also not the paper contracts.
I think, I think you are, these transfers, first of all, please do send these transfers. And I think these transfers are from the wallets from one contract to the validator contracts. So they because we have, for example, several nodes which are validating, and we're increasing this number to actually lower the stake. So they have to be kind of distributed across several wallets, validator wallets, to decrease the stake. Because if we just stake everything, then some of the smaller validators would not be in. And we kind of didn't want to do that. So we kind of distributed that. And it's all in, like Ton Labs is distributing some tokens. Is just for internal reasons of distributing funds across the smart contracts. They are all ours. So we can sign actually messages with that if you want to. We can prove to anyone that these are ours and we control the keys. And I'm talking about what I think you mean.
Yeah, the gentleman asked, can you share their public addresses, the public address of the validators who are transferring these thousands of tokens? That if we're talking about the transfers that go from the givers to the payment group.
Ron, again, if you see some transactions that you think is wrong, just send it over chat and in the Telegram group, and we will find. Because if you found something which is really fishy, then we should all look at this. And this is if it's breaking the agreement, then we should look at this. But other than that, I think that's what it is. Really, I don't think anyone is kind of trading.
I really like the idea of decentralization because here everyone is watching you. That's cool idea.
Yeah.
Also kind of you need to think of that as if someone would do that, I should not say that. Anyway, we are very close to decentralization now, right? It's really just weeks ahead, and after that happens, no one can stop anyone from doing anything, correct? And which means, why do you actually bother? And even if, would we go to sue some validator even if we knew that he kind of traded or she traded something? I don't think so. I mean, no, I guess not. It should not be massive, and it's not. But personally, I don't really think it's that important. It's important in a way of kind of attacks that we can get on the SEC side and these things because like it's not fully decentralized, so we should not trade. And that's why we signed this agreement. We should not do that. But
yeah. Yeah, I mean, he continues, we shouldn't trust paper contracts. Should be a smart contract lockup. Says a later validator wallets into somewhere else. Check it. Don't trust me. It is blockchain. Everything is transparent. Listen again. Don't tell don't say you go look. Man. Send the links yourself, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, don't just tell us to go look. I mean, we've got other stuff to do. If you have something to show it. Show it publicly. We'll look at it. Everybody will look at it. Everybody will see it.
And again, the reason why we didn't lock it in the smart contracts, first of all, because we didn't have the smart contracts to lock it. Okay, wasn't written, and nobody would put a smart contract with not formally verified smart contract, and things like that. Apart from that, we didn't know, and we don't know. Definitely, we didn't know then how long it would take for a full decentralization. So for how much? And really, it's just not. Practically, there's no, like, I think in 1 month, it won't be matter at all. Why it's so important now? Like, is it really important? What I think is really important now is there are scams around which raising money.
Yes.
With a ton name in it. That's, I think it's important.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
These things are not. They're really not important. Because it's nobody's really breaking anything here. It's not breaking security. It's not breaking and I also think that nobody's trading actually anything because you have this, again, transfers. I think I explained what they probably are.
And again, he's writing, everyone can see their wallets. Listen, dude, why don't you just put it in the public? Stop telling us to go look. Easy to check. Easy to check. You check, you put it in. I mean, really, come on. Yeah. Because otherwise it's just hearsay. If you have something to share it. Put our attention to it. Stop telling us to go do something.
Like trolling, like it's like trolling, like saying something but don't making a proof.
That's right.
What I wanted to add here is maybe it's important if the transaction takes place, but there should be this should be addressed in another way. It should be addressed in know your transactions stuff. It should be addressed in searching for off-chain data and making a match between off-chain entities and how do they relate to blockchain addresses, searching for evidences, making all crystal clear. And that's a matter of separate process, and we don't need it now at all. But sometime maybe
it will be decentralized. So when? I mean, it won't be matter anyway, anyhow, anytime.
Well, I cannot in a decentralized fashion go and fuck the rules, which are
language.
Okay. Which rules do you mean?
I mean some governance, some financial governance.
I don't really understand what you mean, but this is the agreement between the initial validators. They won't trade the tokens before the decentralization come. After decentralization come, everyone can do whatever they want, and that's it. There is a vesting. It's not breaking. The vesting is in smart contract, and then it's a signature on this vesting, and the vesting tokens will be put in DePool and automated and everything like that. So nobody will get more tokens than it should be. What they will do with their tokens after the decentralizations in their own, I don't really understand the whole point of this conversation apart from trolling.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's a little bit of what this is, but okay, because all right. So I think YouTube's done. We have one question that came into us from, that was written into us, excuse me, which is strange. Usually we have like 5 or 6. When will the airdrop program be realized? Again, I think we mentioned this on previous streams. It happens when decentralization happens. So once we achieve decentralization, that's when the airdrop happens. So just bear down, hang on, we're almost there.
Yeah, and careful scams. Yeah, there are a lot of scams around, as mentioned.
Well,
by the way, how do you define decentralization? Okay, does it have a definition?
No, it doesn't.
Because there is a 3 stages, or like, is that a like second stage when
that's an in the OD once we put the stages. But in terms of the kind of the world, how the world views decentralization, I mean, the spectrum is huge. There are guys who are coming and saying we have like 4 validators, we're fully decentralized. We don't do that. We often mention the full decentralization event, like some kind of this, but it doesn't have like a real definition, and the community can misunderstand this stuff, because when validators will come to mainnet, it's not yet a decentralization, because no central party. It's very, very simple. Like for me, like that no central party, no one party can do things to change the rules. That's it.
Config parameters, you mean?
Yeah. Well, config parameters, or having 63% of validators, or having 33% of validators. This is what's centralization, right? In the network, right? You have a BFT consensus here, so like you need to keep these numbers in mind: 33, 66, config, and that's it. So if nobody on the network has more than 33%, then it's fully decentralized, right? Simple. For me, it's simple. I mean, maybe there are some financial guys in the United States, particularly, they like to write books about the definition of whatever. For me, it's very simple. 33%. Boom. End of story.
Okay. And just so everybody is aware, so this Zach guy who's continuing this, he's just continuing. So look at the initial validator wallets. There should be 1.155 million in their wallets, and look at their current balance. You keep telling us to look. You are a troll. If you have something you want to prove it. If you're going to tell everybody to go look, I have a feeling you're just coming from another community to troll us. So bye.
That's possible. That's possible. And again, just what Roma said, the Chinese Ton project, let me name it just, is a scam. Okay.
Yes, it is. It's an ICO scam.
And this is they're raising money for, it doesn't matter actually for what. It's an ICO. I think am I correct that ICO are prohibited in China, and they like have a very healthy communist penalty on that? I mean,
you can write a community letter.
We actually did.
Oh,
we actually did.
Yeah, we contacted the authorities. So good luck, guys.
Yeah, that's appreciated.
ERC20 token for Tom blockchain.
And there's another surprise coming.
It's just.
And there's another surprise coming.
It's just horrendous.
Yeah, and just today we found another scam. Freeton.finance, something like that. Yeah, the website tells that Freeton is listed on Uniswap. It's not true. It's scam.
Oh god, the Uniswap stuff that anyone can like blast out the ERC20 token.
Well, we like that. We like everyone. We like dicks. We like all that. We just, we do Dex, not dicks.
Oh,
like dicks.
Okay,
like Dex. that was funny. Ron, that's a 5-star joke. God. Anyway, we like this decentralized ways that everyone can do whatever they want. But on the other side of that, the community that dealing with the decentralized tools need to be aware that these tools can be used. And let's prove that we don't need some central government body, some Security and Exchange Commission or whatever, to tell us what is scam. We know what is scam. And you can very easily know what is scam, right? Very simple. It's like, okay, so just analyze, do your own kind of decision making, and yeah.
But I don't want to ERC20 token named Freeton be created and be traded on the like exchange and exploit our brand, our name, and
that's not. If you, I mean, there are laws in the real world. Like, so if someone is using name which is trademarked, for example,
Is it
then
trademarked?
Well, ton is trademarked.
Freeton.
Freeton is not. But if you use Freeton and you use free and ton, then you are potentially, and in this case, you definitely is like, this is no brainer. If you use Freeton and say you are a Freeton and you kind of link to us and say this is a token of that, then you're stepping over and you're a crook basically. And you can, if you find someone personally or a company who did that, you actually can sue them in real world. And that's what the laws are for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you let the cat out of the bag. So that's what I was saying the surprise about. So yeah, absolutely. Ton is a trademark that belongs to somebody. So for all the scammers out there, you've got something coming to you. Okay, that's it. Wait, hold on. One more question just came. Do you know where the Sashok bot in Chatex bot? I can't. Do you know from where Sashok bot and Chatex bot have so many coins?
Let's not talk about Chatex bot because
that's not us. We don't have anything to do with that.
They're not Chatex bot. You can address to like the creator of Chatex bot. Go to administrators to Chatex bot.
Okay, well, listen, we ran over as we usually do, but not too bad. It's only an hour and a half. No more questions. So, all right, we're done for today. But I will say this was a great stream. I mean, lots of controversial questions, lots of back and forth, lots of community involvement, lots of this and that. This is what needs to happen. This is great. Absolutely great call.
Language, yes.
A little bit of cursing, a little bit of anger. Life never gets exciting without it.
Have to run. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
You all.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
See you.
Bye-bye. Bye.